What if the greatest Jaguar ever built never raced? A car born in secrecy, silenced by fate and resurrected into legend. This isn't just a car, it's a ghost, a question mark, a masterpiece that never got its moment. This is the forgotten story of the Jaguar XJ13. In the world of cars, some roar onto the track and etch their names in history. Others vanish before they even begin. The Jaguar XJ13 is one of those ghosts. Built in secret, nearly lost forever, and whispered about in legends. Only one was ever made. No race wins, no production line, not even a proper debut. And yet, it's considered one of the greatest Jaguars of all time. Born in the heart of Coventry, England, the XJ13 wasn't just another sports car. It was Jaguar's shot at reclaiming its racing crown. After dominating Le Mans in the 1950s, Jaguar wanted a comeback in the 60s. But this time, they needed something truly wild, a machine that could challenge Ferrari and Ford head-on. That's where the XJ13 came in. Designed behind locked doors, the car never saw the spotlight it deserved. For years, it sat hidden, unknown to the world. And when it finally emerged, fate had other plans. A crash nearly destroyed it before it ever had the chance to shine. But why was it created? What made it so special? And how did a car that never raced become a legend? This is the story of the Jaguar XJ13, a tale of ambition, silence, and what could have been. Buckle up, because some legends never needed a finish line to become unforgettable. The early 1960s were a turning point. Jaguar had tasted glory in the 50s, winning Le Mans 5 times. But by 1960, Ferrari ruled the racetrack, and Ford was gearing up for war. Jaguar knew it needed something bold, something secret. That's when a quiet project began behind closed doors at Brown's Lane. The XJ13. No press, no hype. Just a handful of engineers and a dream to create a machine that would destroy the competition. But this wasn't just about racing. It was about pride. Jaguar wanted to show the world it still had fire in its veins. The plan? Build a car that could fly down Mulsanne Straight and strike fear into Ferrari's heart. But while the world moved on, Jaguar stayed quiet. Even as the project advanced, company bosses grew hesitant. Budgets were tight. Priorities were shifting. Still, the XJ13 was being sculpted in silence, destined to become a masterpiece, or a myth. Little did they know, they were crafting a legend that would never get its moment on the track, but would capture hearts decades later. At the core of the XJ13 wasn't just beauty, it was raw power. Jaguar's engineers designed a brand new 5.0-liter V12 engine, specifically for racing. It wasn't borrowed, reused, or repurposed. This was fresh, loud, and built to roar. With dual overhead cams and fuel injection, it pushed over 500 horsepower. Outrageous for the time. Mounted just behind the driver, the V12 turned the XJ13 into a true mid-engine beast. It was smooth, yet aggressive. Mechanical, yet refined. Jaguar wasn't just making a race car, they were crafting a statement. The engine would go on to inspire future Jaguar V12 eons, found in cars like the E-Type and XJ12. But back then, this V12 had one purpose: Le Mans domination. It was tested on dynos, fine-tuned by racing minds, and paired with a lightweight aluminum body to maximize performance. Everything about it screamed winner. The only problem, the world would never see it win. The engine's song was powerful, but few would ever hear it. The XJ13 didn't just sound fast. It looked like it was born from speed itself. Its body was sculpted by Malcolm Sayer, a former aircraft aerodynamicist, and the genius behind Jaguar's most iconic shapes. Every curve had a purpose. Every vent was there to cut the wind. No fluff, no drama, just function wrapped in elegance. With its low-slung profile, wide haunches, and sweeping lines, the XJ13 was poetry in metal. Its aluminum skin shimmered under the light, hugging the chassis like a tailored suit. It was light, slippery, and designed to dominate straights and corners alike. Even the wheels, center-lock magnesium alloys, were built for quick changes during pit stops. Nothing on this car was ordinary. It was ahead of its time, yet trapped in the wrong one. When you looked at the XJ13, it didn't just suggest speed, it promised it. This was a car that didn't need to move to make your heart race. And even today, it still looks futuristic. But a beautiful machine without a purpose? That's a tragedy only history can write. The XJ13 was made for Le Mans. But by the time it neared completion, the world of racing had shifted. Rule changes loomed, Jaguar's priorities changed, and road cars like the XJ6 took the spotlight. Without warning, the project was shelved. No headlines, no press releases, just silence. The XJ13 was quietly tucked away, its tires deflating, its engine mute. It became a forgotten relic, hidden in storage while the world moved on. A car built to scream down the Mulsanne Straight, left to gather dust. But that mystery only made it more magnetic. A machine that never raced, never won, yet earned awe from all who learned its story. Sometimes, what never happens becomes just as legendary. In 1971, Jaguar dusted off the XJ13 for a promotional film. Behind the wheel, Norman Dewis. He was told, "Take it easy." But Dewis was a racer, and the XJ13, it begged to fly. Then, disaster. A tire, aged and brittle, burst at over 140 miles per hour. The car spun violently and crashed into the infield. The one and only XJ13 lay twisted and broken. Dewis, miraculously, walked away. But the car was nearly lost forever, damaged before it ever made a proper debut. It was a brutal twist in a story already full of what-ifs, a legend silenced before the world could hear it roar. Most prototypes would be scrapped after a crash, but not the XJ13. Jaguar knew they couldn't bury history. Engineers, driven by passion, brought it back, piece by piece. Using original blueprints and salvaged parts, they didn't just repair the car, they resurrected it. Every line of its aluminum body was sculpted with reverence. Every bolt a symbol. When the rebuilt V12 roared to life again, it wasn't just metal that came alive, it was a dream. The dream Jaguar shelved, but the world never forgot. The XJ13 was no longer a secret. It was a survivor, a ghost reborn in chrome and thunder. After its resurrection, the XJ13 became a star, not on racetracks, but in museums, shows, and exhibitions. Wherever it appeared, people stopped, stared, and listened. That V12 engine? Still thunderous. Its shape? Still breathtaking. The car didn't need racing glory. It was the glory. At Goodwood, Pebble Beach, and beyond, the XJ13 wasn't just displayed. It stole the spotlight. Some called it art. Others, a forgotten king. Either way, it reminded everyone. This wasn't just a car. It was a story on wheels. A story that demanded to be seen and heard. Only one Jaguar XJ13 exists. No replicas, no clones. Just this single, glorious machine. In an era chasing mass production, the XJ13 was rebellion. Built with artistry, not for profit. A symbol of engineering unchained. Its DNA lives on, in Jaguar's V12s, in the curves of their Grand Tours, in the pride of the brand. It didn't win races, but it won hearts. The XJ13 defined Jaguar's golden era without ever seeing a finish line. It stood still and still made history. Every glance at the XJ13 sparks the same haunting thought. What if? What if it raced? What if it won? What if it changed history? We'll never know. And that's part of its magic. It lives in that beautiful space between fact and fantasy. A legend not built on victory, but mystery. Because some cars don't need laps or trophies to be unforgettable. Some legends whisper and echo forever.